Thanks to our friend who supported the channel financially in the previous video. And before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and support the channel financially. His eyes shifted immediately to democracy, and he said to himself, she's got a full buff loadout, with her skills were golden. But before she could step forward, the Black Scythe spoke again. I'll handle it. Just watch. John whipped his head around and inquired, what? Again, this trial wasn't built for a mage, or so he thought. The Black Scythe didn't even have any known support abilities, did he? Before John could process his confusion, the trial began. A beam of light and a plume of shadow erupted from the floor. In a flash, the angel and demon appeared, both warriors, both snarling with hatred. The angel cried, "You filthy demon!" The demon roared back, "Die, you wretched angel!" The battle began immediately, blades clashing in a brutal dance. It was clear within moments. The demon had the upper hand. Stronger, faster, more brutal. The angel faltered with each swing. Then John saw the Black Scythe move, and a warm golden light enveloped the angel. John's eyes widened, inquiring, emergency treatment? That basic field skill? He almost scoffed, until he saw the angel's gashes mend completely in seconds. No way. He'd used that skill himself. He knew its limitations. It was a band-aid at best, not a miracle cure. And yet, here it was. The angel, reborn in strength and vigor, launched a renewed offensive. The battle shifted. The demon staggered. The angel shouted with renewed fury, blade glowing with divine light. Die! Die, you demon scum! Then the angel's sword pierced the demon's chest. The demon screamed and crumbled into smoke. Then a message appeared. You have succeeded in the 4th trial. As a reward for success, the door to the final trial will open. John could only gape. Once again, they had triumphed. Because of one man. The others murmured among themselves, stunned. But John stood silent, a mix of awe and emptiness bubbling inside him, and he said to himself, there's nothing left for me to do. With a bitter smile, he turned to follow the Black Scythe. But then he stopped and he asked himself, why isn't he moving? The Black Scythe stood motionless, his gaze fixed on something invisible in the air. John squinted, and then he realized. He's reading a system message, and he was right. A faint chime echoed in Ryu's ears, a tone he had come to recognize well. It was the system's message. There is a hidden subquest. Complete more than 3 trials alone. Reward upon success. Rune package. You have completed the subquest. A rune package has been awarded to your inventory. At the sight of the system messages materializing in front of him, Ryu's lips curled into a quiet, satisfied smile, and he said, finally, it's here, the subquest reward. The reason he had taken on each trial almost single-handedly, shouldering the burden, casting the spells, and stepping forward when no one else could, had not been out of altruism. No, it was a calculated move, a risk designed to reap this precise benefit. And he added, I needed to secure the subquest reward no matter what, and he had done exactly that, even if the first trial hadn't counted, since he hadn't been the one to endure it directly. The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th trials were his alone to carry, and now the reward was his to claim. Still, this wasn't the end. There's one more subquest hidden in this round. Ryu glanced sideways. His eyes landed on John, the necromancer, and he said to himself, that's why I brought him along. The final trial wasn't just another obstacle, it was an opportunity. One more hidden challenge, and to clear it, he needed a summoner, not for himself, but for his teammates. Ryu added, this one is for them, not just me. Of course, he didn't include the necromancer himself in that category. He tapped into the system with practiced ease, summoning the inventory interface and selecting the glowing rune package. Then a message appeared. You have used the rune package. Congratulations, you have obtained the rune of reputation. The acquired rune will be automatically engraved on the player's body. Then a glowing sigil flared briefly over Ryu's skin, just above the heart, before vanishing into his body. Rune of reputation. Effect. Your reputation in the other world increases by 1 level. There is no neutral stance, and you will receive favorable treatment wherever you go. He arched a brow and said, so that's what I pulled? Truth be told, he hadn't expected much. Rune packages were known to be randomized. Each time a different rune appeared. He had gambled on this one being useful, and it had paid off. Better than he thought. One by one, new reputation notifications filled the air around him. The reputation of humans towards the last-time traveler has risen from mortal enemy to hostile. The reputation of demons towards the Black Scythe has risen from friendly to very friendly. The reputation of humans towards the Black Scythe has risen from friendly to very friendly. The reputation of elves towards the Black Scythe has risen from very friendly to eternal ally. The reputation of dwarves towards the Trailblazer has risen from friendly to very friendly. The list went on and on. Ryu said, not bad at all. Every title he possessed, Black Scythe, Trailblazer, Last Time Traveler, was affected. All neutral reputations turned friendly. All friendly reputations climbed another step. Even the elves, usually the most reclusive and difficult race to deal with, now saw him as an eternal ally. Ryu's smirk deepened. His fingers twitched in silent anticipation, and he said, "This will save me a ridiculous amount of time. No more pandering or favor quests. The benefits stretched far into the future. Originally, he had only planned to visit the elves in the 13th round to collect crucial materials. But now the dwarves were on the table too. And the demons, they were practically allies," he said calmly, closing the system interface with a flick of his wrist. "Let's move out." The rest of the party, waiting patiently for their leader's signal, stirred into motion. Led by Ryu, the group arrived at the entrance to the final trial. Before them stretched a shadowy corridor, long, silent, and impossibly dark. The air was so thick with unease that even the bravest of them hesitated to approach. Minjuri asked, her voice tense, "Is this the place?" Suddenly, glowing message appeared mid-air. "Within 1 hour, all party members must pass through the traps and reach the end of the passage. Success, registered as a survival team and evaluated for experience points. Failure, total annihilation." John blinked, inquiring, "Total annihilation?" Before anyone could react, more messages followed. "In front of you is a passage shrouded in darkness that no light can illuminate. Traps are scattered throughout the darkness, and touching a trap will immediately annihilate the target. However, once a trap is triggered and annihilates a target, the trap will be removed and will not regenerate. If all party members safely reach the end of the passage within the time limit, the trial will end. Conversely, if you fail to reach the end of the passage within the time limit, it will be considered a failure. All skills except for summoning are prohibited here. Due to limited visibility, rely on each other's backs and proceed calmly." A cold silence settled over the team. One wrong step, one misjudged move, one toe across the wrong square, and it was over for everyone. The tension should have been suffocating, but John, he was grinning. His eyes sparkled with mischievous glee, and for the first time in the entire series of trials, he stood a little taller. This trial, this one, was his. He chuckled under his breath, and he said, "A pitch-black hallway full of instant death traps, and summoning is the only skill allowed? This is practically made for me." Feeling the tide shift, John's chest puffed up with pride. He straightened his shoulders and cracked his knuckles, grinning smugly, saying, "This looks like a trial that's impossible without a summoner, doesn't it?" Democracy glanced at him in confusion and said, "It seems so. What should we do?" John tilted his head, lifting his chin arrogantly, saying, "You guys should consider yourselves lucky." Minjuri frowned and inquired, "Huh? What do you mean?" John turned slowly, his robe fluttering around him like a magician unveiling his trick. He declared, basking in the spotlight, saying, "Because I'm a summoner." His tone was soaked in confidence, and his grin couldn't have been smugger. For the first time, he held the key. He was the vital piece of the puzzle, and he knew it. A small fire lit in his chest, the thrill of purpose, the feeling that finally he mattered. With that fire fueling him, he turned to the one person who had outshined him in every trial so far, the Black Scythe. A man he had admired and feared in equal measure. But not this time. This time, John had something to offer, something indispensable. He smirked, and for the first time ever, spoke with a hint of arrogance. "Hey, Black Scythe." He spat out the words like venom. The others in the party looked up, startled by the sudden aggression. But John wasn't afraid. Why should he be? Party members couldn't harm each other in this world. That rule had given him the courage, no, the arrogance, to do what no one else dared. A dark glint flashed in his eyes as he continued, voice loud and mocking, saying, "Well, look what we have here. A trial that requires my cooperation, huh?" He chuckled, a dry, bitter sound, and added, Looks like fate's finally decided to smile on me. The Black Scythe's gaze remained calm, unreadable. He asked flatly, "What are you getting at?" John's lips twisted into a sneer, saying, "You still have points left, don't you? Transfer 10 million to me, right here, right now. And while you're at it, get on your knees and beg. Maybe then, just maybe, I'll show you some mercy." Minjuri's voice trembled with disbelief, saying, "Hey, John Delgado, what the hell do you think you're doing?" John didn't even look at her. He snapped, saying, "Shut up, Buffer. I'm talking to him." He jabbed a finger toward the Black Scythe, the air around him thick with hostility. But the John wasn't finished. He said, voice rising like a madman spiraling into obsession, "You heard me. 10 million points and a sincere apology. If you don't comply, I won't cooperate with this trial. And we all know what that means. We all die. So write in comments, what do you think our boy will do?